Safe everyone, TOFA here, and today I'm going to be breaking down my ALUNA George control bootleg. It's now out on PARTUM Audio for free download. Would be much appreciated if you could check it out and leave some feedback, good or bad. I'm trying to just, improve my production game because I'm still very new to this. But yeah, I'm just going to go through really and explain what I did. Yeah, I guess that's what a breakdown is. So the drums, very basic drum idea. Very generic kind of drum and bass pattern. On the main drop, shaker, kick, some hats and a snare. The intro is just hats and a lighter kick and then the heavier main kick. Progresses into that kind of standard pattern but without the shaker. And then at the end here I added some reverb on the snare to kind of just give it that space as the shaker comes in for the main build up. And then just a very basic kick build up, and as that happens the shaker fades out very slightly, so it loses the reverb. Added some more shakers here. And what I'll do is I'll always take my kick sample, reverse it, and put them together, and it creates this kind of womp effect, which I find just gives the drop a bit more kick. It adds more kick to the kick. But yeah, so very standard, basic drum patterns. There's no breaks, nothing like that. It's just, very generic pattern, and it continues all the way through. The last section, I got rid of the shakers just to give it a bit more space before it goes back into the intro. And that's it for the drums, really. That's literally it. So now moving on to the main elements really, which is the foghorn, the sub, and this little kind of pluck sound. I need to start labeling stuff. I never know what's in what channel and things get confusing, but that's my laziness. I need to improve with that. But yeah, so the main elements are these three here. Which sound quite strange without the drums, to be honest. It doesn't really sound like anything's in time. But yeah, so this foghorn kind of thing here, it's very basic. Kind of got a lot of inspiration from Alchemist's kind of sound. But yeah, there's not a lot going on. There's a bit of sidechain compression, which I think was with the snare, just because the high end of both the sounds were clashing, and an EQ to cut out the lows so it doesn't clash with the sub and bring out the highs. The kind of high mids. And it's a very basic sound, it's like pretty much every other foghorn. It's just two sine waves, cut-off filter, unison, detuned, FM from B on the oscillators, and then without any of the post-processing, it just sounds rubbish, and then we distort the absolute shit out of it. Yeah, so I was happy with that. That was the foghorn. Sub bass. I've got all these automation things. That just sums up what I know about production. I call them things. The sub was very simple. There's not a lot of post-processing at all. There's a bit of compression, limiters, which is sidechain to... So sorry, they're not limiters. I was using the sidechain compression feature on it with the kick and the snare, because I just wanted to get the drums to punch through a bit more, because this kind of sub was making the mix very muddy, and it was basically ruining all the other elements I had in the tune. The filter, which is predominantly in the intro, just to bring the sub in nice and slowly, and an EQ which cuts all the highs out pretty much, and it is basically just in the sub region. And then obviously in mono. And that's it for the sub. And then there was this little pluck, spacey pluck thing, which I just thought I'd add. Sounds quite nice. Again, it's a very like spacey tune. So I was going for stuff that sounded, yeah, spacey. So yeah, just cut out the lows. There's still like the mids and the low mids, but I just didn't want it clashing with the sub. And yeah, and that's the main elements of the tune, really, with the drums. Yeah, it's basic, like I said, it's a basic project. There's not a lot to it. And then the vocals, which kind of drove me mad for a while. So yeah, the vocals without any processing sound like this. And then with the processings, we've got an EQ, compressor, limiters, which are again using them as side chaining for the two snares because it was really affecting the high end and distorting it a lot, because there's a lot of high end in the vocals, especially after I EQ'd it and took out all the lows. Well, like rolled off the lows. Stereo shaper, just to widen the sound. And again, that's it really, just routed to a reverb bus as well to give it a bit more space. There's obviously no dry signal on the bus, so it's just the reverb. And that was it really, and then it was just clipping it up to get something that sounded alright. So yeah, there's bits and bobs everywhere where I've just done kind of vocal clipping. And then yeah, the change up with the vocals here, which gives the tune obviously more variation so people don't get bored. This bit here. In control of me love, y'all get wet up when me turn her up. And then I also repeated this, just so it kind of, it rolls through a little bit nicer. In control of me love, y'all get wet up when me turn her up. Boy, now she go start wine up. Which it was good fun, like I enjoy, you know, messing around with vocals and stuff. And yeah, and then on the second drop again, this section where it changed here is a different set of vocals again, from the same tune but different to all the other bits. Hey y'all, make sure you're in control of the bass. Tonight me I take off your shots, I'ma feel up the... But I had to lower the volume very slightly because even though I used a compressor, it was still way too loud and it wasn't the same volume as anything else, so I needed to lower it slightly. And that's it for the vocals. Again, very simple, just messing around until I got something that I liked. And then lastly, it's just literally just rises and effects. There are hardly any. In fact, there's pretty much none throughout the drop except for this one here and the good old little wheel up beep signal. So yeah, the like little wheel up beep signal, these piano keys here. This kind of effect, warp effect thingy. My terminology with this is absolutely brilliant, isn't it? I'm calling everything stuff and things, and yeah, I definitely know what I'm talking about. But yeah, so again, just risers, quite a big one. So this is just this riser here, but reversed. So in fact, it was a downer. This was a down riser, whatever you want to call it, and then I reversed it and stretched it out very slightly. And then there's this little, like, I don't know how to explain it, like this little zingy effect thing. And then another riser for the drop. And that's it for like risers really. They start coming back in the last section of the drop just so it can smoothly transition into the intro again. So the piano keys come in on this bit. I'm in control. I'm in control. Don't you know I And then it was just a bit of variation on the second drop. I took out the drums on the first 2 bars of the drop, and also the drum roll is much more intense than the first one. The first one's pretty slow.
Deeper than deep to get me up. Deeper than deep to get me up.
So yeah, and then I changed the foghorn up a bit as well in the second drop towards the end. They're kind of a lot longer. Well, they are a lot longer. And yeah, and then automation on the unison, which gives it that wobble. And that's it. That is literally the tune. It was, like I said, very simple. I apologise if I waffled a lot and stuff didn't make sense. Like I said, I'm still very new to this whole process and I'm still in the learning stage. But yeah, thank you for watching. Big ups to Love Shack Sounds and PARTUM Audio for getting me involved with this. I hope you learned something, or you can take something away from this video. And yeah, big love everyone. Have a blessed one.